things I'd love to talk about in this session is healthy habits and the neuroscience behind it. So I'm sure you've read some amazing books out there. There are some great books on habits. One of the things that I love is when you look at the neuroscience, we've got this cue habit reward that creates a habit cycle. And people often ask me, how do I change a habit? Is it really only 21 days to create a new habit? And the answer to that is actually no. When you look at the research, it can take up to, I think it's something like 284 days to create a new habit. But don't let that put you off. If we want to think about how you might help your clients or yourself create new habits, think about cue habit reward. The first one is cue. A habit usually occurs because of a cue. Now, you might not even realize what this is. It could be a time of the day. It could be following on from another habit. So if you think about your routine at night, literally one habit is cue for the next habit, whether it's cleaning your teeth, brushing your teeth, washing your face, etc. So if we think about cue habit reward, the first thing we need to do is identify the cue. If we can, if it's a habit we want to change, then we might want to remove that cue if we can. Of course, we can't remove 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So sometimes cues can't be changed. You could create a cue. So if you're trying to generate a new habit, create a cue, something in your environment that triggers you in a particular way. Then we want to look at the habit. So if we can't change the cue, for instance, bar of chocolate at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe we can change the habit. So 3 o'clock still occurs, but maybe we have a spoonful of honey instead, or we do something else. We have a glass of water, we do something different. So we change the habit. If we can't change the habit or we can't do something in that space, then we need to look at the reward. What's the reward that we're getting from it? And can we generate a different reward? If there's a new habit we want to put in place, like going for a run in the morning, maybe you don't always feel excited or energized afterwards, although possibly you do. Maybe what you do is you put a big grin on your face while you're out for your walk or your run, so that you're getting the reward as you go. So that's one of the things I love to look at with clients is cue habit reward. What can you help them put in place to either create a new habit loop in that particular cycle or break one? And yet here's the other thing that neuroscience tells us, particularly when we want to break a habit. Your brain is primed to encourage you to repeat that habit. And we get a dopamine hit when we complete that loop. But your brain is also really clever. And because its job is to help you complete that loop so it gets its big hit of dopamine, what it's going to do is the minute that that cue is there, it's going to trigger a small amount of dopamine to create what we call a craving. This is why if you think you're going to stop having your bar of chocolate at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this is why at 2:59, it's almost like you can't resist, because your brain pumps a tiny little bit of dopamine into your head to go, come on, you want to, which encourages you to complete that loop. So think about what you can really do when you're working on this for yourself or for your clients. How can you be prepared for the craving that can then occur? What's the habit? Do we need to change or shift it? And then what's the reward we're getting for it? Can we acknowledge, change, or add a reward? Neuroscience teaches us so much about how the brain is wired. It's something we could literally talk about for days. And as I say, there's some great books out there that you might want to look at around that. Just think of the basics: cue, habit, reward, with a little bit of craving thrown in for good measure.